Welcome to today's deep dive.
Yeah.
If you're the kind of person who, absolutely loves a good aha moment, you are in the exact right place.
Yeah, that sudden realization where everything just clicks.
Exactly. We are all about gaining thorough knowledge without feeling overwhelmed by it all. So, the mission today, we're exploring a fascinating article that outlines 6 U.S. slang differences that spark massive, truly massive debates.
Oh, people get so protective over these words.
They really do. And the whole point of this deep dive is to look at how our geographic location literally rewrites our everyday dictionary. It acts as this shortcut to understanding regional identity.
Which is such an important premise to establish right up front.
Right.
We tend to think of language as this static thing, right? Like a strict set of rules we just memorized in grade school.
Right.
But language is always changing. And when you look at the sheer size of the U.S., there are just endless opportunities for multiple slang words with the exact same meaning to pop up out of nowhere.
Well, let me hit you with the hook from the source material because it is perfect. Picture this. It's August 31st, 2025.
Okay.
The burger chain Whataburger, which, is based in Texas, they post this fun little image on social media. They were referencing that hit animated film, KPop Demon Hunters.
Oh, yeah. I remember seeing this unfold in real time.
Right. It was wild. So in the caption, they casually referred to the beverage in the picture as, quote, soda pop.
Mm-hmm.
And literally within minutes, the comment section just melts down.
It was a spectacular corporate misstep. If you know anything about Texas, you know that soda pop is an alien phrase down there.
Okay, let's unpack this. Whataburger's entire brand identity is steeped in Texas culture. But Texans saw that post and were genuinely furious. They totally missed the movie reference.
Frankly, they missed it.
And why? Because in Texas, you do not drink soda pop. Literally, every carbonated beverage, no matter the flavor or the brand, is called a Coke. You ask for a Coke, and then the server asks you what kind.
Yeah. So by using soda pop, the brand accidentally signaled to their most loyal customer base that an outsider was running the show.
Exactly.
And that Whataburger controversy connects directly to our first major theme today, which is how powerful local companies don't just sell products, they actually manufacture our regional vocabulary.
Which feels, almost slightly dystopian.
A little bit, yeah. We like to imagine language as this grassroots phenomenon, like neighbors chatting over a fence, but a staggering amount of our everyday vocabulary originates in corporate boardrooms.
So how does a company actually manage to overwrite a local language like that?
It's through a concept called genericide.
Genericide, wow.
Yeah, we see it a lot in the South, which is the prime example. Coca-Cola started in Atlanta, right?
Right.
And it became so hyper-dominant in the early days that the brand name literally morphed into a common noun for all soft drinks in those southern states.
So they weren't just the most popular drink. They were basically the only reliable carbonated drink you could get in a rural southern town back then.
Precisely. They built a fortress of bottling plants. So the generic word was just starved out of the local lexicon.
But if you step outside the South, the map shatters. The Midwest and Western states, they firmly reject Coke and use the word pop.
Which is the undisputed champion out there.
And I always associate pop with the actual sound the bottle makes.
Mm-hmm.
Like an onomatopoeia. Pop.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. But then you look at the coasts, California and New England, and they heavily prefer soda.
Although there is this intriguing detail in the source about a specific New England state, Massachusetts.
Oh, yes. The older generations in Massachusetts, they don't use soda or pop. They use the term tonic.
Tonic. It has such an apothecary vibe to it. It sounds like something a pharmacist mixes up to cure a cough, not something you drink with pizza.
Well, your intuition is completely spot on there. Carbonated water actually started as a medicinal product in the 1800s.
Oh, wait, really?
Yeah. Pharmacists mixed these medicinal syrups with bubbly water to make the medicine go down easier. And in Massachusetts, local bottlers leaned heavily into that marketing. They sold them as health tonics.
So it's essentially just an inherited marketing slogan that's survived for over a century.
That is wild.
It really is. And this corporate influence theory applies to public infrastructure, too. Like the great hallway debate. What do you call the thing you get a drink of water from in a public building?
Oh, this one is fascinating. Because the national split is remarkably even. If you start in eastern New Mexico and go up through Colorado, Wyoming, Montana, and then look eastward to the coast, they all say water fountain.
Right.
But the western states and the Great Lakes area, they are firmly committed to drinking fountain.
What's fascinating here is a hyper-local exception hiding right inside that Great Lakes area, around Milwaukee, Wisconsin.
Okay.
In that specific pocket, and also in parts of Rhode Island and Australia, they don't say water fountain or drinking fountain. They use the word bubbler. Bubbler. Which sounds so much more fun. But there's an industrial origin to this one too, right?
Very much so. It stems from a Wisconsin-founded plumbing company called Kohler in the 1910s. They designed a fixture where the water didn't arc out. It pushed straight up and literally bubbled at the top.
Oh, I see.
And they aggressively marketed it under the trademark name Bubbler.
It's as if a company's marketing department accidentally became the local dictionary editor. I mean, the brand's success literally erases the generic word from the vocabulary.
It really shows how companies get the privilege of naming reality for a community.
Okay, but let's pivot a bit. Because corporations name our drinks and our fountains. But how do we come up with words for purely practical, everyday items?
That's where we shift from industrial influence to human observation. The sources show that different regions focus on completely different functions of the exact same object.
Right. Let's do a deep dive into athletic shoes, because most of the U.S. calls them tennis shoes.
Which is funny because we wear them for so much more than just tennis.
Exactly. But if you go to the Northeast, or this one small part of Florida, they are known exclusively as sneakers.
And this is where it gets really literal.
Here's where it gets really interesting, yeah. The literal reasoning behind sneakers, it's all about the rubber soles.
Right. Before vulcanized rubber, shoes had hard leather bottoms. You'd walk down a wood floor or cobblestone, and everyone heard you clacking along.
But the Northeast looked at these new, soft rubber shoes and focused entirely on the fact that they were quiet. They allowed you to literally sneak up on someone.
They named the object after the physical action the technology allowed you to perform. But then you look at Chicago and Cincinnati.
Yeah.
They completely ignore the sole of the shoe and call them gym shoes. They name it after the room it's used in.
And Hawaii just calls them generic shoes. Oh, and outside the U.S., the U.K. calls them trainers.
If we connect this to the bigger picture, it shows a fascinating regional split in human psychology. Some regions intuitively name things based on what the object does, like sneaking.
Right. Form versus function.
Exactly. While other regions name it based on where it belongs, like the gym or the tennis court.
We see that same psychological divide when we look at the grocery basket on wheels.
Oh, the cart debate.
Yeah. 77% of Americans just say, grab a cart. It's utilitarian.
But the South calls it a buggy, the Northeast uses carriage, and Hawaii uses wagon.
And outside the U.S., it's a shopping trolley. Or just trolley.
Notice how all of those minority terms, buggy, carriage, wagon, trolley, they're all older modes of transportation that predated the supermarket.
It's an echo of the 19th century in the modern produce aisle. But wait, I have a pointed question about the data here.
Let's hear it.
We established that sneakers is dominant in the Northeast. But why does a very small, isolated part of Florida share that exact term exclusively with the Northeast?
That's a brilliant catch. It speaks to domestic migration. Language is the most durable baggage we pack.
Oh, of course.
When retirees from New York or Massachusetts pack up and move to specific communities in Florida, they bring their Northeast dictionaries with them.
So migration patterns are secretly mapped out by these shared slang words. That makes total sense.
It creates these fascinating little linguistic islands.
Well, building on that idea of observing our surroundings, let's transition to the natural world. Because how we describe nature and our climate survival gear reveals this profound environmental connection to our language.
Geography literally becomes an active participant in our vocabulary here. Let's look at winter hats.
The bizarre toboggan split. I love this one.
It's so strange.
Outside the South, a toboggan is a sled. A flat wooden sled. But in the southern U.S., a toboggan is a knit winter hat.
It's a stunning example of linguistic drift.
How does that even happen?
Well, the prevailing theory is that in regions with heavy snow, you'd wear a specific knit hat while riding your toboggan.
Okay.
But in the South, it rarely snows enough to justify owning a sled, so the sled itself was culturally irrelevant.
Oh, wow. So the word for the activity just transferred to the only relevant piece of gear left, the hat.
Exactly. Now, most other U.S. areas bypass that entirely and just call it a beanie, which actually comes from the old slang term for your head, your bean.
Put a beanie on your bean. I love that. And Australia and the UK use beanie as well.
They do. But then look at the northern neighbor influence. Canada uses toque, T-U-Q-U-E.
Right.
And U.S. areas bordering Canada have completely adopted toque into their own vocabulary.
But the absolute best example of the environment shaping our language has to be those glowing insects in the summer.
The firefly debate.
Yes, the South and Midwestern states overwhelmingly say lightning bugs, but the rest of the U.S., especially the coasts, say fireflies.
This raises an important question. Why such a distinct split for a simple insect? Both words are highly descriptive.
Right, fire and lightning both produce light.
Exactly. So a meteorological researcher named Jason Keeler proposed an amazing theory. He noticed that the geographic areas using the word fireflies are historically prone to massive wildfires,
Okay, wow.
while the areas using lightning bugs are prone to intense, dramatic lightning storms.
Yeah, that is just incredible. Our regional vocabulary might actually act as a subconscious environmental mirror.
It really might.
I mean, we are looking at this tiny bug in our backyard, and we name the world around us based on the most dominant, dangerous natural phenomena looming in our specific skyline.
We project our environmental realities onto the insects in the grass. It completely shatters the idea that language is just arbitrary sounds.
So synthesizing everything we've talked about today on this deep dive.
Whether it's the lasting footprint of Coca-Cola's dominance, or the literal utility of quiet rubber soles on sneakers, or the frequency of lightning storms in the Midwest, your geographic zip code quietly acts as the author of your personal dictionary.
So what does this all mean? For you listening right now, it means language isn't just a static set of rules. It is a living, breathing map of local history, climate, and industry.
Every word contains multitudes.
But I want to leave you with a final provocative thought to mull over. The sources today show how immense geographical distance and local isolation created all these highly distinct terms.
You needed isolation to create a Milwaukee bubbler or a Massachusetts tonic.
Exactly. But in our modern era, we have constant internet connection, global streaming, social media.
We're totally connected.
So what happens next? Will these beautiful, hyper-local differences eventually be flattened out into one universal, homogeneous internet dialect?
It's a very real possibility.
Something to think about the next time you ask for a pop, or a soda, or a Coke. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive.